Her name is Dr. Rebecca Good. She is a education expert, and her website is askdrbgood.com. Rebecca, how are you?
I'm fine, thanks. How are you all?
We're very good. So, look, it's a very messy kind of situation, right? You got all these kids. No superintendent of a school wants to be the one that's going to be put up in lights on the news of, oh my God, there's been an outbreak of 100 positive cases at such and such school. But also there's a lot of pressure, and I think rightfully so, from parents to say, look, we got to get our kids back to school. Kids are not targeted in this. It's targeting the elderly folks and also folks that have compromised immune systems. How do we get this done?
Well, that's the big $1 million question. And for example, the governor in Texas just told people he wants kids back in school. He wants schools to open up in the fall and get them back. So that's what is going to happen, except that those doggone parents, right? The parents are telling us, mm-mm. So we've done surveys, and almost 40% of our parents are saying, no, I'm not ready to send my child back. And so it's a superintendent's deal to win back the trust of the parents. So how can we do that? Well, one of the ways that I do it is I'm podcasting about with my safety guys and my facilities guys and my operations guys about how safe these buildings are going to be when the kids come back. But right now, and I'm sure it's all over the country because I read about it, I hear about it, nobody wants to say exactly how many kids should be allowed in each classroom, right? So there's cockamamie ideas about 45 square feet around each child. So if that's going to be done, then a lot of classrooms are different sizes. That means you have 17 allowed in one class and 11 allowed in another and 22 allowed and down the hall. How do we do this? So yes, you're right. It's not a good time to be a superintendent, but it is what it is. And so we are meeting that challenge by talking to our parents, by convincing them that school is the right place, because social, emotionally, kids are not going to do as well as home. I'm not even talking about the instructional piece, right? Social, emotionally, those kids need their friends. They need to learn how to interact with each other. And heck, now we have racial unrest. How do we get over that? We teach it in school, right? That's why those kids need to be in school. You're right. But how we do that carefully so that we don't have the uptick in COVID with our athletes, because we're starting to see that. Athletics have been allowed to come back in the last few weeks, and we're seeing an uptick in COVID with our basketball players, our football players. How do we contend with that? Good question. So we're going to have to be going into this as mindfully as possible, offering a virtual environment for those parents who are not ready to send their kids back, being able to bring kids back whose families are trustful of the schools, and then monitoring the safety precautions of wearing masks, although we can't force kids to wear masks. Please note that, and that's sort of the hard part in all this. So you see that we have more questions than answers right now, but we have a very short period of time. Summer is halfway done.
Correct.
Right. And doctor, what are some of the procedures and precautions that are kind of being talked about on your end to make parents more comfortable?
So, of course, door handles, light switches, surfaces constantly being cleaned several times a day. But then the kids come in, they are encouraged to wear masks, and we even have face guards for them if they will wear them. We're worried about our little ones. You can imagine kindergartners, they think it's fun for about 5 minutes, right?
Correct. I have a 6-year-old, doc, so the mask ain't happening. I'm just telling you.
Yeah. And so trying to encourage them to wash their hands after they go to the bathroom, wash their hands before lunch, after lunch, the constant use of sanitizer, which I hope years down the road we don't find out that that's bad for our kids. But for now, making sure that we have safety procedures in place that we actually implement and monitor daily. And the adults are the key here. And so making sure that every school has a school principal that has said to the staff, we are not playing here. We will follow these safety practices so that we don't send the wrong message to parents that this is not a safe place for them to continue to send their kids.
Dr. Rebecca Good join us. She's an education expert. We're talking about how to get kids back to school. You mentioned kind of a dual approach of having some kid. I don't like the whole, all right, we're going to bring kids into school. If your last name is A through M, you come on Monday and Tuesday. And if your name is N through Z, you come on Thursday and Friday. I don't like that. Is there a way to do, okay, the kids that and the parents that don't want to come, boom, you can have an all online option. But if you're okay with your kids coming to school, they come to school 5 days a week. Is that possible, knowing, look, there's budgetary questions there. And as you know, there's a lot of school districts across the country that are in bad financial shape. How is that going to work?
Well, you bring up a good point. There are a lot of states that have not said how that finance model is going to work if we do keep kids at home learning. There's some talk that possibly the states would send us less money if a child is learning at home than the ones that come to school, which would motivate a school certainly to make sure the school stays safe, because the safer the school is, the more kids will come to school. And so the more money a school will make. And so that's one of the models that we're thinking is going to happen out there. That's a good incentive, right? To try to get kids in school. But it's a matter of trust. We have our at-home distance learning strand for parents who have told us that they are not ready to bring their kids back. But as we open up schools and we implement our safety procedures faithfully so that we don't have COVID incidences, then what happens is even during the year, we would be able to accept kids back into the classroom from home and consider each one a win, right? So that's our goal. That's our work.
That's the goal, but as you know, the clock is ticking. Dr. Rebecca Good, we appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.